Hadith 1. The leader of the believers, Abu Hafs, may Allah be pleased with him, said, I heard Allah's Messenger saying, certainly actions are considered based on the intentions, and everyone gets the recompense according to what he intended. So anyone whose migration is for Allah and His Messenger, his migration is for Allah and His Messenger. But the one whose migration is for worldly gains, he gets that, or for a woman, he marries her, and the recompense for his migration is as for that for which he migrated. Reported by the two great leaders of the scholars of Hadith, which are the two most authentic books compiled. Commentary. The author commenced these hadith with the hadith of which is agreed upon to be the authentic. Imam Bukhari has collected it in his Sahih, and Imam Muslim agreed upon, and the Muttafaqun alayhi agreed upon by the two great scholars and Muslim are the highest degree of authentic narrations from the Sunnah of Allah's Messenger. He began his book with this hadith for the purpose of giving reminder on the importance of an-Nawawi, correct intention, and that the author and other than him from those who carry out good deeds must commence with sincere intention for Allah, the Mighty and Subleme alone. Likewise, Imam al-Bukhari, may Allah shower blessings on him, commenced his Sahih with this hadith to give admonition on an-Nawawi, and that the author and other than him should remember this hadith when they do good deeds, so that it is done for the sake of Allah, the Mighty and Subleme alone, and the deed does not become mere exertion beareth of any benefit. This hadith is among the narrations of al-Jawami, simple expressions with comprehensive entailments, and the Prophet is blessed with Jawami al-Kalim and lucidity at speech, so he would speak few words which would entail a great deal of knowledge and extensive benefit. With regard to this hadith, the people of knowledge say it is one of the four hadith around which Islam revolves, and they are certainly, firstly, this hadith, certainly actions are considered based on the intentions. Secondly, the hadith, certainly that which is lawful is clear, and that which is unlawful is clear. Thirdly, the hadith, hold back from that in the hands of people, and the people will love you. Fourthly, the hadith, from the perfection of the religion of a man is that he leaves what concerns him not. In this regard, a versifier said, the foundations of the din, in our view, are words, from the words of the best of creatures. Leave ambiguous matters and hold back, and leave what concerns you not, and act with sincerity. These are the four hadith. The versifier above saying, leave ambiguous matters. This is the last part of the hadith. Certainly that which is lawful is clear, and that which is unlawful is clear. Hold back. This is from the hadith. Hold back from that in the hands of people. Leave what concerns you not is from the hadith. From the perfection of the religion of a man is that he leaves what concerns him not. Act with sincerity is taken from the hadith. Certainly, actions are considered based on the intentions. He's saying, inama, as it occurs in the Arabic text, it is a particular and restriction. It affirms the ruling for what comes after it and negates same for what comes before it, as in Allah's saying, the zakah are only for the poor and the necessitous. So it is from the particles of restrictions, and restrictions means affirming the ruling for what comes after it and negating the same for what occurs before it. Certainly actions are considered, that is, actions are considered in the sight of Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, based on the intentions. The aims of the doers is the plural of the word niyyah, which is the intent in the heart. So consideration is not only with regard to the mode of the action. The intention of the doer is greatly considered. If he intends the face of Allah, then his action is for Allah, and if his intent is for other than Allah, then his action is for other than Allah. This is what the Hadith points to, and it is from the Jawami. Hence, his saying certainly actions are considered based on the intentions, means based on the intents of the doers and their learnings. Thus, it is important that he makes his intention purely for Allah in all his good deeds. The meaning of actions is in this connection are the ibadat, acts of worship. As for the worldly actions, they do not basically require intention. For example, that one eats or drinks, or wears his clothes, or drives his car. They do not basically require intention. So, what is intended here by actions are the acts of obedience. They are those who must be based on sound intention. Then he said, and everyone gets the recompense according to what he intended. In this sentence an emphasis for the sentence before it, or it is independent. There are two views regarding this. The first view, some of the scholars view that it is an emphasis for the sentence before it and an extra stress to what it points to. The second view, it is independent and not an emphasis, and this is the most preponderant position. This is because to consider a statement independent is more preferable than to consider the same statement an emphasis. As such as saying certainly actions are considered based on the intentions implies that the consideration of an action is based on the intentions of the doer in terms of correctness or voidness. So if his intent is for Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, alone, then his action is correct. But if his intent is for other than Allah, then his action is vain. This is in terms of correctness or voidness. As for his saying, and everyone gets the recompense according to what he intended, this is from the angel of reward. It will not be rewarded by Allah except if the intent is for Allah. If it is for other than Allah, then he does not have any reward with Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, as he, the Most High, says, whosoever desires the life of the world and its glitter, to them we shall pay in full the wages of their deeds therein, and they will have no dominion therein. They are those for whom there is nothing in the hereafter but fire, and vain are the deeds that they did therein, and of no effect is that which they used to do. It is contained in a hadith that the Prophet said,